The morning sky over Seoul turned blood red as hundreds of alien warships descended through the clouds. Captain Hyun-woo Park pressed his face against the cracked window of his command bunker, watching the massive vessels hover above the city like floating mountains. Their hulls gleamed with an otherworldly metal that seemed to absorb the sunlight. "Sir, they're broadcasting on all frequencies," reported communications specialist Yoon Ji Choi, her voice tight with fear. She pulled off her headset and looked at him with wide eyes. "They're speaking perfect Korean and English. Every other language we've detected." Hyun-woo moved to the tactical display where Lieutenant Min Jung Kim was tracking the alien fleet movements. Red dots covered the holographic map of Earth like a disease spreading across the planet. Every major city, every military base, every strategic location was marked with enemy contacts. "How many?" Hyun-woo asked quietly. "Over 3,000 ships worldwide," Min Jun replied, his fingers dancing across the control panel. "They appeared simultaneously above every continent. Our satellites detected massive energy signatures just minutes before they dropped out of whatever drive system they use." "Ah!" The bunker shook as something massive passed overhead. Through the reinforced concrete, they could hear a low humming sound that seemed to vibrate in their bones. Sergeant B. Young Lee burst through the heavy door, her uniform torn and dust covering her face. "Sir, they hit the airbase with some kind of energy weapon," she gasped. "Our fighters didn't even get off the ground. The entire squadron was destroyed in seconds. The weapons just melted." Before Hyun-woo could respond, every screen in the bunker flickered and displayed the same image. An alien face appeared, humanoid, but clearly not human. Its skin was pale blue, its eyes were larger than any human's, and when it spoke, its voice was calm and measured. "People of Earth," the alien said, its words perfectly synchronized with Korean subtitles. "I am Admiral Kethfer of the Zephyrian Empire. Your planet is now under our protection and control. Your military forces have been neutralized. Your governments have been dissolved. Resistance is not only futile, but unnecessary." Hyun-woo felt his heart sink as reports flooded in from around the world. The Pentagon had gone silent. The Kremlin was not responding. Beijing's last transmission was a distress call cut off mid-sentence. Every military installation on Earth had been hit simultaneously with surgical precision. "We are not conquerors," the alien continued. "We are liberators. Humanity will take its place as a member species of the Zephyrian Empire. Your technology, while primitive, shows promise. Your species will be educated, improved, and integrated into our civilization." The transmission ended, leaving the bunker in stunned silence. Yoonji was the first to speak. "Sir, I'm detecting massive electromagnetic pulses from every major city. They're not just attacking military targets. They're shutting down our entire technological infrastructure." Through the window, Hyun-woo could see Seoul burning in the distance. But the fires were controlled, precise. The aliens weren't trying to destroy the city. They were disabling it, like a doctor performing surgery on a patient. "What are our orders?" Sir Min Jen asked. Hyun-woo looked at his team, these brave men and women who had served their country faithfully. Bo Young was barely 25, fresh out of officer training. Yoonji had a daughter waiting for her at home. Kim-jun was supposed to get married next month. They were looking at him for answers he didn't have. "You follow Protocol 7, he said finally. The team exchanged glances. Protocol 7 wasn't in any official manual. It was something they had discussed in private, late at night, when the possibility of alien invasion seemed like science fiction. It was their contingency plan for the unthinkable. "Are you sure, sir?" Bo Young asked. "That means we let them think they've won." "They have won," Hyun-woo replied. "At least they've won the war they expected to fight. Our jets couldn't touch their ships. Our missiles couldn't penetrate their shields. Our armies couldn't match their technology." He moved to a secure communication panel and began entering a complex code. But winning a battle and controlling a people are two different things. The Zephyrians think they understand humans because they've studied our technology and our military. They don't understand what makes us human. The message he sent was simple and would be received by hidden cells across the globe. It contained just 3 words. Phase 1 complete, and we're going to surrender, Hyan-Woo announced to his team. We're going to be model prisoners. We're going to let them think they've broken us, and while they're congratulating themselves on their easy victory, we're going to learn everything we can about them. Outside, the alien ships settled into permanent positions above the city. Their crews would soon discover that conquering humanity's military was the easy part. Understanding humanity itself would prove far more challenging. As the team prepared to emerge from their bunker with white flags, Hyan-Woo allowed himself a small smile. The aliens had declared victory after 72 hours of fighting. They had no idea the real war was just beginning. 3 months had passed since the alien ships settled over Earth's major cities like permanent storm clouds. Major Sujin. Han walked through the empty streets of Busan, her footsteps echoing off abandoned storefronts and silent apartment buildings. The Zephyrian escort, walking 10 meters behind her, made soft clicking sounds with every step, a nervous habit she had learned to recognize. Your people vanish like smoke, Commander Velthor observed, his translator device rendering his alien speech into accented Korean. Where do they go during the day? Sujin shrugged, stepping carefully around a broken street lamp. People are afraid. They stay inside, tend to their families, try to survive. It's what humans do when things get difficult. What she didn't mention was the small piece of chalk in her pocket, or the barely visible mark she had made on the wall 3 blocks back. That mark would tell Dr. Jae-Sung-moon, who spent his days growing vegetables on rooftops throughout the city, that the alien patrol schedules had changed again. The aliens had appointed her as a liaison officer, believing they needed a human face to make their occupation seem legitimate. They thought she was helping them understand her people. In reality, she was helping her people understand them. The resistance was so brief, Velthar continued, his large eyes scanning the empty windows above them. Most species fight for months, even years. Humans gave up in 3 days. We're practical, Sujin replied. Why waste lives fighting an enemy we can't defeat? She had practiced that line dozens of times, making it sound defeated and resigned. The aliens loved hearing it. It confirmed everything they believed about their swift victory. 200 kilometers away, in the mountains outside Gangwon Province, former Colonel Jin Ho-yoon sat in what appeared to be a refugee camp. Families huddled around small fires. Children played quietly with makeshift toys. And everyone looked appropriately miserable for the alien surveillance drones that passed overhead twice daily. Report, Jin-ho whispered to the woman sitting beside him, who was mending clothes with practiced efficiency. Teacher Nari Kim kept her eyes on her sewing as she spoke. The Northern Patrol uses the same route every day, exactly 47 minutes from checkpoint to checkpoint. They stop for exactly 12 minutes at the bridge to scan for electronic signatures. Weapons? Always 3 soldiers. Plasma rifles, standard issue. Shield generators on their belts. The leader carries what looks like a communication device. Ginho nodded, filing away the information. Nari had been observing alien patrols for weeks, while pretending to organize food distribution for displaced families. To the aliens, she was just another helpful human trying to keep people fed. They had no idea she was mapping their entire security network in the ruins of Seoul National University. Dr. Yujin Kong worked in a basement laboratory that the aliens believed was completely destroyed. Above her, the building was indeed a bombed-out shell. Below, hidden behind carefully placed debris and false walls, she had assembled the most advanced research facility in human history. The power coupling is unstable, she muttered, adjusting the strange hybrid device on her workbench. It was part human engineering, part alien technology, reverse-engineered from components they had salvaged from crashed alien drones. Her assistant, Engineer Dong-Hyan Park, looked up from his own project. The frequency modulation is the key. Their shields are designed to stop conventional weapons, but they assume we don't understand quantum mechanics. They're about to learn how wrong they are, Eugene said with a grim smile. Dong-Hyan had spent the last month pretending to repair damaged infrastructure throughout the city. The aliens even praised his work, not realizing he was actually installing hidden sensors and power conduits that would feed energy to weapon systems they couldn't imagine. Back in Busan. Sujin was finishing her patrol with Commander Velthor. The alien seemed pleased with the day's observations, which had shown him exactly what he expected to see: a broken, defeated population going through the motions of survival. "Your species adapts well to new circumstances," Velthar commented, as they approached the alien administrative center. "Very peaceful, very cooperative." "We learn quickly," Sujin agreed. "Fighting brings only death." The alien nodded approvingly and dismissed her for the day. As she walked home through the empty streets, Sujin allowed herself a small smile. The aliens were so focused on what they could see that they completely missed what was hidden in plain sight. That evening, she sat in her apartment and listened to what sounded like a normal radio broadcast. A farmer discussing crop rotation schedules, a teacher talking about school supply distribution, an engineer reporting on bridge repair progress. To anyone listening, it was exactly what the aliens expected to hear: mundane conversations about basic survival needs. But Sujin understood the code. The farmer was confirming that orbital defense platforms were 60% complete. The teacher was reporting that strike teams were in position throughout the northern sectors. The engineer was announcing that power systems were online and ready for activation. The aliens had spent 3 months watching a defeated population slowly accept their new reality. They had no idea they were actually observing the largest coordinated military operation in human history, hidden in plain sight behind the simple activities of daily survival. As she prepared for bed, Sujin thought about Commander Velthar's words. He was right about one thing: humans did adapt quickly to new circumstances. But he had completely misunderstood what they were adapting to become. The convoy had been traveling the same mountain road for 3 months without incident. 17 Zephyrian soldiers, 3 armored vehicles, and a shipment of quantum processors that would upgrade their communication systems across the Korean peninsula. It was supposed to be a routine supply run through the Tibet Mountains. Admiral Cuthbert stared at the empty road in the security footage, replaying the final moments for the 20th time. At 0847 hours, the convoy was moving normally through a narrow mountain pass. At 0848 hours, the lead vehicle's camera showed trees and rocks ahead. At 0849 hours, all signals went dead. "No explosion signatures," reported his intelligence officer. "No energy weapon discharges, no electromagnetic interference. They just ... disappeared." 17 soldiers and 3 vehicles don't just vanish, Cuthbert growled, his blue skin darkening with frustration. "What happened to the emergency beacons? The automatic distress signals? Never activated, sir?" "Whatever happened occurred. Faster than their reaction time?" The admiral studied the terrain map. The convoy had been traveling through a valley with steep sides and limited visibility. It's perfect for an ambush. But the humans had shown no signs of organized resistance for months. Their weapons were primitive, their military was scattered, and their morale was broken. "Send a search team," he ordered, "and double the escort for all future convoys." 2 days later, the search team found the vehicles at the bottom of a ravine, twisted and burned beyond recognition. The quantum processors were gone, along with all weapons and communication equipment. But strangest of all, the wreckage showed signs of technology that shouldn't exist. "The metal has been cut with precision tools," the forensics expert reported. "The cut patterns suggest some kind of directed energy weapon, but the frequency signatures don't match any known human technology." Dr. Yujin Kong examined the stolen quantum processors in her hidden laboratory beneath Seoul. The alien technology was more advanced than anything humans had ever created, but it followed principles that were surprisingly familiar. Physics was physics, regardless of which species discovered it. "The power coupling is ingenious," she told her team of engineers. "They've solved the quantum coherence problem using crystalline matrices. If we can reverse engineer this and combine it with our electromagnetic pulse technology, we could create weapons that use their own power sources against them," finished engineer Donghain Park. "Their shields are designed to stop external attacks, not internal feedback loops." Captain Mi Young-jung watched the weapons testing from a safe distance. The hybrid rifle in her hands looked like something from a science fiction movie, but it was very real. When she pulled the trigger, the electromagnetic pulse it generated was powered by a modified alien quantum processor. The target, captured Zephyrion shield generator, flickered and died within seconds. Field test successful, she reported into her radio. The frequency modulation works. Her shields can't adapt fast enough to compensate. Similar tests were taking place in hidden facilities around the world. In the Rocky Mountains, the Sahara, desert, the Amazon rainforest, the Himalayas. Wherever humans had disappeared into the wilderness, they'd actually been building and training. Commander Velthor received the reports with growing unease. Supply convoys were disappearing with increasing frequency. Patrol teams were reporting strange sightings of humans moving through areas that were supposed to be empty. Most disturbing of all, they were finding evidence of technology that shouldn't exist. Humans are adapting faster than we anticipated, he reported to Admiral Kethver. They're reverse engineering our technology somehow. Possible, Kethver replied. Their science is centuries behind ours. They barely understand quantum mechanics, but the evidence was mounting. Energy signatures that matched Zephyrian technology, but with strange modifications. Electromagnetic pulses that disrupted their communication systems. Weapons that seemed designed specifically to exploit weaknesses in their defensive systems. In the mountains outside Gangwon province, Colonel Jinho Yoon received reports from resistance cells across the globe. The farmers were confirming that orbital defense platforms were nearly complete. The teachers were reporting that strike teams were fully trained and equipped. The engineers were announcing that power systems were online and ready. Phase 2 is complete, he announced to his command staff. All units report ready status. Teacher Nari Kim had spent months studying alien patrol patterns while pretending to distribute food to refugees. Now she led a strike team of 30. People each carrying weapons that combined human engineering with alien technology. They moved through the forest like ghosts, using knowledge of local terrain that no alien could match. Target in sight, she whispered into her radio. Alien outpost, 4 guards, standard defensive positions. The attack lasted less than 3 minutes. The alien shields failed when hit by electromagnetic pulses tuned to the exact frequency of their own power systems. Their weapons were useless. Against enemies who struck from multiple directions simultaneously and disappeared before reinforcements could arrive. By the time Admiral Kethver realized what was happening, it was too late. The humans weren't hiding in defeat. They had spent months studying every aspect of Zephyrian technology, learning their weaknesses, and preparing for asymmetric warfare. Sir, his communications officer reported, we're losing contact with outposts. Across the planet, humans are coordinating simultaneous attacks using our own communication frequencies. Kethver stared at the tactical display as red lights appeared across the globe. Each light represented a Zephyrian position under attack. The humans had turned their occupation into an intelligence-gathering operation, and now they were using everything they had learned. Impossible, he whispered. We defeated them, conquered them, but the evidence was undeniable. The prey had become the predator. Admiral Kethver's hands trembled as he read the intercepted transmission for the 3rd time. His intelligence. Officers had been monitoring human communications for months, dismissing them as the mundane chatter of a defeated population. Now, with alien outposts falling across the globe, they had finally decoded what they were really hearing. Farmer Moon reports harvest ready in Sector 7, the message read in plain Korean, when his translators had always assumed it was about actual farming. Sir, his communications expert said quietly. We've cross-referenced the timing of these agricultural reports with the attacks on our installations. Every time someone mentions a harvest, one of our positions gets hit within hours. Kethver felt his blood run cold. Show me the pattern. The holographic display lit up with months of intercepted communications. Teacher Kim needs supplies. For classroom B12 had been followed by the destruction of outpost. Engineer Park finished repairs on Bridge Section 9. Preceded the attack on Communication Relay 9. Dr. Leah's ready for patients in Ward 15 had come just before the assault on Weapons Depot 15. They've been coordinating military operations through coded messages, Kethfer realized. Right under our observation? For months. Scope of the deception was staggering. Every human they had identified as a collaborator had actually been a spy. Every refugee camp had been a training facility. Every repair project had been sabotage or weapons preparation. The defeated population they had been monitoring was actually the largest coordinated resistance movement in galactic history. Dr. Jae-Sung Moon adjusted the targeting system on the orbital defense platform hidden beneath his rooftop garden. The vegetables growing above were real, as was the fertilizer and irrigation system. But 20 meters below, a quantum cannon capable of destroying alien warships was powering up for the first time. All farming sectors report ready for harvest, he transmitted on the agricultural frequency. To anyone listening, it sounded like a routine report about crop yields. In reality, he was confirming that orbital defense platforms across East Asia were online and targeting enemy vessels 300 kilometers away. Teacher Nari Kim made her own transmission. All students are present and ready for today's lesson, she announced during what appeared to be a routine school broadcast. Her students were actually members of Strike Team Alpha, and today's lesson was the coordinated attack on every alien. Administrative Center in the Southern Peninsula, the aliens had spent months studying human behavior, but they had completely misunderstood what they were seeing. They thought humans were individually focused on survival, not realizing that everything was connected through an invisible network of coded communications and shared purpose. Colonel Jin Ho-yoon stood in his command center, watching tactical displays that showed the true extent of human preparation. Similar facilities existed on every continent, hidden beneath refugee camps, inside abandoned buildings, and under the ruins of bombed cities. The aliens had been so focused on controlling what they could see that they had missed an entire parallel. Infrastructure, sir, his communications officer reported. We're receiving confirmation signals from Rocky Mountain Command, Sahara Base, Amazon Station, and Himalayan operations. All sectors report ready status. Jinho allowed himself a moment of satisfaction. The plan had taken months to implement, requiring perfect coordination between millions of people across the globe. Every person who had appeared to collaborate with the aliens had actually been gathering intelligence. Every public work project had been cover for military preparation. Every routine conversation had been coded communication. Begin Phase 3, he ordered. All units, commence Operation Reversal. Admiral Kethfer watched his fleet's tactical display with growing horror as red warning lights appeared across the globe. The humans weren't just attacking individual outposts anymore. They were launching coordinated strikes against every alien position simultaneously. Sir, we're detecting massive energy signatures from the planet's surface, his tactical officer reported. They're using modified versions of our own quantum technology. Impossible, Kethfer replied automatically, but he knew it was true. The humans had been reverse engineering captured alien technology for months, combining it with their own engineering to create hybrid weapon systems. The first orbital defense platform revealed itself when it fired on the Zephyrian cruiser above. Seoul. The quantum beam punched through the ship's shields like they were made of paper, sending the massive vessels spinning out of control. Within seconds, similar platforms were firing from locations across the planet. They've been building weapons in secret, Kethfer realized, using our own technology against us. Commander Velthar burst onto the bridge, his uniform torn and his blue skin pale with shock. Sir, the humans aren't just fighting back. They're using tactics we've never seen before. They know exactly where our weak points are, exactly how our weapons work, exactly how to disable our defenses. Because they've been studying us, Kethfer said grimly. While we thought we were occupying their planet, they were learning everything about ours. The tactical display showed the devastating truth. Earth's surface was alive with activity as human forces emerged from their hiding places. They moved with precision and coordination that surpassed even elite Zephyrian units, using hybrid technology that combined the best of both species' capabilities. Sir, the communications officer called out, we're receiving a transmission from the surface. It's from Major Sujin Han, the human liaison officer. Sujin's voice came through the speakers, calm and professional. Admiral Kethfer, This is Major Han. I'm speaking on behalf of the United Human Resistance. We demand the immediate withdrawal of all Zephyrian forces from Earth's space. You have 1 hour to begin evacuation, your defeated Kethfer replied. Automatically, we conquered you. You defeated our armies, Admiral Sujin said. You never met our people. There's a difference. The attack began at dawn, timed to the second across every time zone on Earth. Captain Myungjung crouched behind the rubble of what had once been Seoul's City Hall, her hybrid weapon humming with alien energy. Around her, 30 members of Strike Team Alpha waited for her signal. They had trained for this moment for months, learning to move like shadows and strike like lightning. All teams report ready, whispered the voice in her earpiece. Teacher Nari Kim was coordinating the assault from her hidden command post 3 kilometers away. Begin Operation Reversal. Myung raised her hand and pointed forward. Her team moved through the ruins like water flowing around stones, each person knowing exactly where to go and what to do. The Zephyrian Administrative Center ahead of them looked like a fortress, but they had studied its defenses for months. The alien guards never saw them coming. The electromagnetic pulse weapons disabled their shields before they could react. The hybrid technology turned their own power sources against them, overloading their systems in seconds. Within minutes, the entire facility was under human control. Above the city, Dr. Yujin Kong watched from her orbital defense platform as similar scenes played out across the globe. The quantum cannon beside her was charging for another shot. At the alien fleet, the first strike had destroyed a Zephyrian cruiser, sending shock waves through their entire formation. Target acquired, she announced into her headset. Firing on Admiral Kethfer's flagship, beam of concentrated energy tore through space, striking the massive alien vessel just as it was trying to retreat. The ship's shields flickered and died, and secondary explosions began rippling along its hull. On the bridge of his dying flagship, Admiral Kethfer stared at the tactical display in disbelief. Every red dot representing a Zephyrian position was either flashing or going dark. The humans weren't just fighting back. They were winning. Sir, we're losing main power, his engineering officer reported. Hull breach on decks 7 through 12. Life support is failing. How is this possible? Kethford demanded. They're a primitive species. We conquered them in 3 days. Sir, his communications officer interrupted. We're receiving surrender demands from multiple human commanders. We're offering safe passage if we withdraw immediately. Through the smoke and sparks on his bridge, Kethfer could see the planet. Below, what had appeared to be a dead, defeated world was now alive with activity. Energy signatures blazed from hidden facilities across every continent. The humans had been building an entire military infrastructure right under their noses. Major Sujin Han stood in the ruins of the Busan Administrative Center, accepting the surrender of Commander Velthor. The alien who had once spoken so confidently about human defeat now looked broken and confused. We don't understand, Velthar said, his translator making his words sound hollow. You accepted our rule. You cooperated with us. You showed us your compliance. We showed you what you wanted to see, Sujin replied. You expected us to be defeated, so we appeared defeated. You expected us to be primitive, so we hid our capabilities. You expected us to be divided, so we pretended to be scattered. She gestured to the hybrid weapons her soldiers carried, the advanced communication systems they used, the coordinated tactics that had overwhelmed the aliens so completely. You studied our technology and our military, but you never understood our people. In the mountains of Gangwon Province, Colonel Jin Ho-yoon watched the global tactical display with satisfaction. Every resistance cell was reporting success. The farmers had activated orbital defense platforms that were systematically destroying the alien fleet. The teachers had led strike teams that captured every major alien facility. The engineers had turned the aliens' own infrastructure against them. Sir, his communications officer reported, we're detecting massive energy signatures from the alien fleet. They're preparing to retreat. Let them go, Jinho ordered, but make sure they understand the lesson. Admiral Kethfer managed to transfer his flag to a smaller vessel as his flagship broke apart in Earth's atmosphere. Around him, The remnants of the once mighty Zephyrian fleet were fleeing toward deep space, their formations broken and their confidence shattered. "Admiral," his tactical officer said quietly, "the humans could have destroyed us completely. They had the firepower and the positioning, but they're letting us leave." Kethver understood the message. The humans weren't just defending themselves. They were demonstrating their capability. They could have wiped out the entire Zephyrian fleet, but they chose mercy instead. It was a warning to every species in the galaxy, as the last alien ship disappeared beyond the solar system. Kethver recorded his final transmission to the Zephyrian Empire. "Avoid the third planet," he said, his voice heavy with defeat. "The humans are not what they seem. We declared victory over them too soon." He paused, looking back at the blue and white world that had humbled the greatest fleet in galactic history. They don't just fight to win, they fight to ensure their enemies never threaten them again. They are patient, they are clever, and they are absolutely ruthless when cornered. On Earth's surface, humans emerged from their underground cities and hidden facilities. They had spent months pretending to be defeated while actually preparing for war. They had turned their own conquest into the greatest intelligence operation in history. Captain Myung-jung stood in the ruins of Seoul, watching the alien ships disappear into the darkness of space. Around her, her people were already beginning to rebuild. But now they would rebuild with the knowledge that they were not alone in the universe, that sometimes the greatest victory came from appearing to lose. The aliens had declared victory too soon. They would not make that mistake again.